This is Mission Control Houston. Good morning. Good morning and good afternoon. You're getting a live look from the International Space Station. Looking down at the HTV, the H2 transfer vehicle, Kounotori 8, loaded with trash and old nickel hydrogen batteries, ready to depart the International Space Station. Right now, the space station and Kounotori in an orbital nighttime. The space station itself, 262 statute miles just south of Japan. In about 11 minutes, we should expect a sunrise, starting a 9-minute countdown until a 12:20 p.m. Central Time release of Kounotori this afternoon. Teams looking after the HTV are here in the International Space Station Flight Control Room. Flight teams of Orbit 2 are looking after the release of the HTV today, as well as flight controllers over in Tsukuba, Japan, that are looking after the HTV itself. Leading the teams here in Mission Control Houston is Flight Director Royce Renfrew. Royce Renfrew of the Orbit 2 teams, the second of 3 shifts that staff this room 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Behind him, Alex Kanellakos, the Capcom. You'll be hearing his voice up to the 2 crew members inside the cupola workstation of the International Space Station at the controls of the robotic arm. Behind him, Kimiya Yui, JAXA astronaut and veteran spaceflyer himself, who 4 years ago was at the controls of the robotic arm himself, getting ready to release HTV-8. He and Kanellakos will be guiding the 2 astronauts that are ready in the cupola workstation to release the HTV here in just about 20 minutes. Flight Director Royce Renfrew currently conducting a go, no-go poll to make sure all teams are ready for that release. Again, he's working with the flight control teams over in Tsukuba, Japan, of the HTV flight control rooms. Here, the teams are looking after the vehicle itself, the Kounotori 8. There's a series of burns once it's separated from the robotic arm that will take it away from the International Space Station and outside what's called the keep-out sphere and the approach ellipsoid. From there, it will be a safe distance away from the International Space Station to make its flight to re-enter Earth's atmosphere and burn up over the Pacific Ocean Saturday night U.S. time. Again, you can see in an orbital nighttime the Kounotori 8 at the end of the station's robotic arm. Currently in the cupola workstation, getting ready for the orbital sunrise to initiate the command to release Kounotori, our 2 NASA astronauts. There's Christina Cook of Expedition 61, who launched earlier March of this year for her long-duration stay, about 11 months aboard the International Space Station. She's at the controls of the cupola, in the cupola workstation of the Canadarm2. Next to her, Jessica Meir, who arrived at the space station recently, this September 2019. She'll be backing up Christina Cook as they undergo the release of Kounotori again at 12:20 p.m. Central Time today. The 2 NASA astronauts will be swapping positions on Monday to capture a new cargo vehicle, Northrop Grumman's CRS-12 vehicle that's launching tomorrow from the Wallops Flight Facility. The 2 astronauts are looking at a workstation inside the cupola workstation. This is called the Cuckoo, provides telemetry of the HTV throughout its departure. On the bottom right, you can see a value called VV to ISS. That will be the approximate range in meters and the rate at which it's departing the station. It'll be a slow procedure, but once it's released, there'll be a series of 2 burns to get it out of the keep-out sphere. This is a 200-meter sphere around the International Space Station that marks the range that both Christina Cook and Jessica Meir have the ability to issue an abort if necessary. Once it's outside there, the next milestone will be about 1 kilometer away. That's the approach ellipsoid. Once the HTV crosses the approach ellipsoid, that will end joint operations between the International Space Station Flight Control team here in Mission Control Houston and HTV Flight Control that's over in Tsukuba, Japan. Those flight controllers, now working at 2 a.m. Saturday morning Japan time, will oversee the flight of HTV again until it's deorbited into Earth's atmosphere Saturday night.
Fill in for 1.602 Block Bravo is abort type time tag 1747, 1747. Prepare for release per step 4 in 1 decimal.
Today we'll be ending the 34-day stay of Kounotori aboard the International Space Station. It was launched September earlier this year, September 24th, from the Tanegashima Space Center. This is a clip of that launch just a few months ago. It lifted off with a little bit more than 4 tons of cargo on board from Tanegashima. It began its ascent about 12 minutes until it's finally separated into a good orbit. From there, it took about 4 days until it was captured on Saturday morning, U.S. time, September 28th, at about 6:15 a.m. Central Time. The HTV delivered, again, about 4 tons of cargo. This included a lot of science, but also 6 new lithium-ion batteries with associated adapter plates in the unpressurized section of Kounotori. The robotic arm extracted the pallet containing those 6 lithium-ion batteries and was maneuvered over to the port side of the International Space Station to continue a series of upgrades for the batteries on the outside of the space station. 3 of those lithium-ion batteries were successfully installed on the 2B channel on the far port side of the International Space Station. That's 1 of 8 channels. Those 3 lithium-ion batteries replaced 6 nickel-hydrogen batteries. Again, there's adapter plates to actually make those work. One of the batteries, though all of the batteries were working,
Yeah, we heard that Lucas set a timer for 17:15. If he can just call us down when he hops off at 17:15 just to let us know he's off, that'd be great.
Okay, thanks.
Again, Alex Kanalakos, the Capcom here in Mission Control Houston, talking with Christina Cook and Jessica Meir in the Cupola workstation. We're counting down to the release of the Kounotori 8 at 12:20 p.m. Everything on track so far for that release. Those teams will be communicating. The visiting vehicle officer for today is TJ Castleberry. He'll be communicating with those flight controllers over in HTV Flight Control in Tsukuba, Japan, overseeing the flight of HTV separating from the International Space Station and again getting ready to deorbit with tons of trash and those old nickel hydrogen batteries on Saturday night U.S. time. Now again, the pallet that's inside HTV-8 contains old nickel hydrogen batteries. Those are from that same pallet was installed. This was late September. This is some recorded footage of the installation of those old nickel hydrogen batteries. That pallet itself was the pallet actually of HTV-7. Again, those lithium-ion batteries are part of a series of upgrades. So the lithium-ion batteries that were delivered with this pallet were swapped up on a different channel of the International Space Station. That right there you're seeing loaded with the old nickel hydrogen batteries, ready for disposal into the Earth's atmosphere. The pallet that HTV-8 brought up is still on the International Space Station with 3 lithium-ion batteries still on the pallet. The other 3 were installed onto the 2B channel. Though all three of those lithium-ion batteries were functioning properly, there was a downstream issue with the battery charge discharge unit. This is part of the electronics assembly that actually routes power from those solar panels over to the lithium-ion batteries and downstream to the many experiments on board the International Space Station.
Copy.
Jessica Meir and Christina Cook went outside the International Space Station to replace that unit and make sure that the whole 2B channel was powered to its full potential, swapping out that battery charge discharge unit. That was conducted last month and was the first all-female EVA conducted outside of the International Space Station. Now just about a minute or so away from sunrise, the go, no-go poll for release of HTV has been completed. We're now go for HTV release, the Kounotori 8, counting down to an on-time release, 12:20 p.m. Central Time as the sun rises. The International Space Station and Kounotori 8, 264 statute miles over the North Pacific Ocean. Again, HTV-8 carried more than 4 tons of cargo up to the International Space Station. We talked a lot about those batteries, very important series of upgrades for the International Space Station, but of course many of other things in the pressurized side, including a lot of experiments and hardware for experiments. One such experiment was the cell biology facility. Here's some recorded footage of astronaut Andrew Morgan, currently aboard the International Space Station, getting ready to install that new hardware. That acronym there was the CBEF-L, Cell Biology Experiment Facility. That is an extension of that facility to allow more samples inside. It's biological samples that go inside. There's a centrifuge inside of this facility. It allows a lot of different biology experiments like plants and microbes to be tested. And there's some variable G capability that goes inside of that facility. Of course, you have the microgravity environment of the space station, one of the most valuable parts of having this laboratory up in space. But that centrifuge allows for variable gravity, so you can test both the microgravity environment 1G and variations in between. This was just one of the many experiments that the HTV carried up to the International Space Station, as well as those batteries. It's been attached to the Harmony module, the Earth-facing side of the Harmony module, for, again, 34 days, now completing its journey. The robotics officers and flight controllers here in Mission Control Houston unberthed HTV from that position after the astronauts closed the hatch earlier this week. That was at about 9 a.m. Central Time this morning. About 45 minutes later, the HTV was maneuvered by robotics controllers into the release position that you see right here, just about 13 meters away from the space station. There's snares that are holding the HTV in place at the end of the robotic arm. It'll be Christina Cook, backed up by Jessica Meir, that will send the command to release those snares. And back away from the HTV, HTV will initiate a series of 2 burns to start moving away from the International Space Station. These burns are called International Space Station departure burns, ISS departure maneuvers. The first one's about 2 seconds, just to give it that initial drift away from the station. And then there's another 12-second burn. And those burns will take it out of the keep out sphere. Again, that's that sphere where Christina Cook and Jessica Meir still are within range to send an abort command if necessary. And then once it's outside, it will be a safe distance away to initiate a 70-second burn that will carry it even further away, about 1 kilometer away from the International Space Station, and joint operations with HTV control so that they can take over and deorbit the spacecraft.
Station Houston for HTV. Go for HTV release on time. Steps 5 to 6.2 and 1.420.
Copy all.
There's a small window that the astronauts on board the space station have to release the HTV. That window opens up at 12:20 p.m. Central Time. That's about 4 minutes from now. This is a live camera view at the Cuckoo workstation aboard the International Space Station. This is the view that Christina Cook and Jessica Meir are getting. There are the controls of the station's robotic arm. They're ready to release HTV. Everything's go from the flight control perspective. Just waiting for that window to open at 12:20. That's the on-time release we're looking forward to for HTV today. Now in an orbital daytime. Within that window, soon approaching that window where we can release the HTV, the space station now 262 statute miles in an orbital daytime over the North Pacific Ocean, approaching the western coast of California. Now handing over that satellite communication. This is expected as we hand over from TDRS satellites. These are the tracking and data relays satellites that are geosynchronous orbit, just about 23,000 miles away from the space station, but provide the video and audio communication. This is a predicted handover. We should be regaining that communication shortly. In the meantime, we're tracking release of HTV in just a little more than a minute from now. Once it's released, it'll be about 40 minutes until it's outside of the approach ellipsoid. Please be sending in your questions using the hashtag AskNASA during that time. We'll try to get as many as we can while the HTV starts flying away from the International Space Station towards that approach ellipsoid about 1 kilometer away. This is the International Space Station Flight Control Room. Teams here of the Orbit 2 team being led by Flight Director Royce Renfrew. Flight teams here in joint operations with HTV Flight Control Room in Tsukuba, Japan. 2:20 a.m. Saturday morning, Japan time over that way. Standing by for release. And we have a release. 12:21 p.m. Central Time. The International Space Station flying 261 statute miles over the Pacific Ocean just west off the coast of California. A great separation. The arm about a meter away, backing away. The coast of California coming into view as the arm backs away after a successful 12:21 p.m. Central Time release.
Sensation on 2 for HTV. HTV retreat commanded and PDT timer started.
Copy.
You heard that confirmation from Jessica Meir. The retreat command sent the arm about 4 meters away. Now 5 meters away. You see from the workstation a little more than 14 meters away, HTV flying free. Still holding steady, ready for that command where that first burn will take it away from the International Space Station.
Station Houston for HTV. Safety net enabled.
Copy safety net.
Again, a great release of HTV, 12:21 p.m. Central Time. HTV in a retreat mode, drifting slowly away, almost 17 meters at this point. The arm itself 6 meters away from the spacecraft. Again, there's a series of burns to get it out of that keep-out sphere, counting down for those milestones. HTV about 8 meters away from the station, counting down for that first burn. The thrusters are activated on HTV as a space station, and Kounotori 8 fly 258 statute miles over Mexico.
Station Houston for HTV, IDM-1 maneuver loaded, monitor per step 2 in 1.602.
Copy, we're monitoring step 2.
That IDM-1 referenced by Capcom Alex Kanalakos is the 2-second burn now starting. And IDM-1 complete. That's the first of 2 burns to get it out of the keep-out sphere. HTV about 20 meters away from the space station. The separation burns to again get out of the keep-out sphere are separated by about 10 minutes. That first one complete, a 2-second burn. The next one a little bit longer at about 12 seconds.
Station Houston for HTV, IDM-1 maneuver complete. Verify per step 3 in 1.602.
Copy, we have verified all in step 3.
Copy.
Again, that first departure burn complete, 2-second burn. The next one coming up in less than 10 minutes from now, and that'll get it outside the keep-out sphere. HTV, 24 meters away from the space station and continuing to move away. In the meantime, send in your questions using the hashtag AskNASA. We'll try to answer as many as we can as we await this 40-minute procedure to get from release outside of the approach ellipsoid. This first one comes from Renee. He's asking, HTV is departing with trash to burn up, but not all the batteries have been replaced. What's the status on the battery replacement spacewalks? Are they postponed? So the pallet that's inside HTV is actually the pallet from HTV-7. That pallet is full of nickel hydrogen batteries. They're old batteries ready to dispose, and they'll deorbit with HTV. That's scheduled for late Saturday night U.S. time. The pallet that HTV brought up is still on the International Space Station. 3 of the lithium-ion batteries, 3 of the 6 lithium-ion batteries that the pallet brought up are installed successfully onto the 2B power channel. The next one to tackle is the 4B power channel. Now, all those 3 are up and running thanks to the work done on the last spacewalk by Christina Koch and Jessica Meir, the first all-female spacewalk in history, to make sure that that power channel was fully operational. One of the battery charge discharge units that are downstream of the lithium-ion battery that supplies power to the many experiments aboard the space station failed, so they had to swap that out. There were a few more spacewalks originally planned to complete the 4B channel, but those will be scheduled for next year as we await the upcoming spacewalks to repair the alpha magnetic spectrometer. For those of you who have tuned into NASA TV, you may have heard some of the briefings so far of the many experiments on the Northrop Grumman's Cygnus vehicle launching tomorrow. That includes some tools that the astronauts will use during those spacewalks later this year to repair the alpha magnetic spectrometer. You can tune into coverage tomorrow morning. Our coverage will begin at 8:30 a.m. Central Time, 9:30 Eastern, for an 8:59 a.m. Central launch, 9:59 a.m. Eastern. Cygnus will be carrying about 8,200 pounds of cargo to the International Space Station. Meanwhile, we're still tracking the HTV-8, Kounotori 8, making its way away from the International Space Station after a good initial burn to get out of that keep-out sphere. Again, there's one more to get out of the keep-out sphere. The HTV is about a little less than 34 meters away from the space station. Keep sending in your questions using the hashtag AskNASA. Again, Kounotori 8 was released at 12:21 p.m. Central Time from the Canadarm2. NASA astronauts Christina Koch and Jessica Meir at the controls of HTV, now monitoring its departure from the International Space Station. They have a workstation where they're looking at telemetry, tracking that it is about 40 meters away from the space station now. Traveling pretty slowly through the initial departure. It'll speed up as it gets away from the space station. But right now, a little less than 0.1 meter per second. We're tracking the departure of Kounotori 8 right now, approaching 50 meters away from the International Space Station. In just a few minutes, it'll initiate that second departure burn. That's a 12-second burn. you'll start seeing the HTV move just a bit faster away from the space station, now departing at a glacial speed of just a little less than 0.1 meter per second. Again, that second burn coming up very soon.
Station Houston for HTV, IDM-2 maneuver loaded, monitor per step 4 in 1.602.
Monitoring step 4 and have verified both parameters.
Copy.
Capcom Alex Kanellakos in the International Space Station Flight Control Room, talking with the two NASA astronauts currently monitoring HTV's departure in the Cupola workstation. That's Christina Cook and Jessica Meir. Now, it's confirmation that departure burn, the second departure burn, is coming up very soon. HTV spacecraft ready for that command. That'll be about a 12-second burn. And that'll get the HTV moving a little bit faster and outside that keep-out sphere. Almost 70 meters away from the space station now, Kounotori 8 hugging the western coast of Peru on its southeasterly flight. It'll follow the track down the Andes Mountains as we await completion of that second departure burn. Kounotori 80 meters away, flying on a southeasterly coast course down the western coast of the South America, following the Andes Mountains. Good reports so far of that second burn completing.
Station Houston on Space to Ground 2 for HTV. IDM 2 maneuver complete. Verify per step 5 and 1.602. The 24-hour safe trajectory has been confirmed.
Okay, copy all. We're monitoring step 5 and have already verified all conditions.
Copy that.
Good reports from Capcom Alex Kanalakos here in Mission Control Houston. That second burn has been completed. That was a 12-second burn. That'll give it a little bit extra boost, a little extra speed to get outside the keep-out sphere. You can see about 109 meters away from the International Space Station at this point. "114 meters away." You can see that rate increasing just a little bit more than 0.2 meters per second, heading towards that keep-out sphere. We have an Ask NASA question about the keep-out sphere. What is the zone and how big is it? The flight controllers here have telemetry that sort of draws a 200-meter sort of elliptical sphere around the International Space Station. That's about the range where Jessica Meir and Christina Cook inside the Cupola workstation have the ability to send an abort command from their workstation inside the International Space Station.
For HTV, abort type set to passive. Verify per step 6 and 1.602.
Copy, monitoring step 6. And we see passive.
Copy.
And you can see they're already getting through those milestones for that abort command as the HTV continues to move successfully through its timeline. About 0.26 meters away. That's the rate that it's moving away from the space station, now 135 meters. But that keep-out sphere is just has the ability for those two astronauts to send a command if they see anything wrong. They have the best vantage point of the HTV from their workstation aboard the International Space Station. They're inside the cupola. It's a 7-bay window that looks right down towards the Earth. They're getting great views of the HTV and the Andes Mountains below them as the International Space Station and Kounotori 8 fly 259 statute miles right over the west coast of Chile over the Andes Mountains. Just a few meters away from the keep-out sphere at this point. HTV tracking 178 meters away. Again, that's about 200 meters to get outside the keep-out sphere. We have a question from Vance who's asking what happens once it's deorbited. Will the whole thing completely burn up upon re-entry? Yes, it will. There's that HTV loaded with trash and old nickel hydrogen batteries. It'll make its flight around the Earth for a little longer and start a series of 3 deorbit burns starting on Saturday afternoon U.S. time, carrying it through very late Saturday night U.S. time. That'll take it into the next day, Sunday, Japan time. Those 3 maneuvers will take the whole thing to deorbit into the middle of the Pacific Ocean. A great flight of HTV so far, just a few meters away from the keep out sphere.
Station Houston for HTV.
Go ahead.
Yes, you guys have a go in step 7 of procedure 1.420, and we are complete in procedure 1.602.
Okay, copy. Go for step 7 in 1.420. Say things coming on.
Copy.
Things in place.
So that was a good read from Alex Kanellakos up to the 2 NASA astronauts in the cupola monitoring HTV's departure. It has crossed the keep out sphere. The next step is a very long burn to take it from the keep out sphere out to the approach ellipsoid. That's about 1 kilometer away. This burn will be a long one, about 70 seconds, and will increase the speed of HTV's departure from where it currently is at just a little more than 0.4 meters per second to a little more than 1.2 meters per second.
Station Houston for HTV. HTV has exited the 200-meter keep-out sphere.
Copy that, Alex. And we wanted to send our congratulations to JAXA and all the teams today on a great and successful mission. It was our honor to have Kounotori on board.
And we thank you guys for all your hard work with the entire HTV-8 mission. And for HTV-8, Kicho na Kamotsu tu Kagaku no Tiekyo ni Kansha Shimashu Godosupidu no Uchikushi Fune.
Arigatou gozaimasu, Alex.
Some congratulatory words from both Christina Cook aboard the International Space Station and Alex Kanellakos here in Mission Control Houston, crossing the keep out sphere successfully, heading towards that approach ellipsoid. Kounotori, 330 meters away from the International Space Station. A good report of that long burn, that departure burn that's about 70 seconds long. That was completed. Everything looked good. The range rate, that's the rate at which HTV Kounotori is departing, is starting to get up a little bit. We're now nearing 0.7 meters per second. That increase in velocity will take it away from the International Space Station towards the approach ellipsoid. This is another sphere drawn around the International Space Station. Once it crosses that approach ellipsoid, joint operations for HTV flight controllers and the International Space Station flight controllers will cease. The flight of Kounotori will be handed over to HTV. That'll carry it through the rest of its journey, through the next day and a half until it's deorbited into Earth's atmosphere over the Pacific Ocean. A good flight of Kounotori so far, 387 meters away. The space station and Kounotori flying 265 statute miles over the South Atlantic Ocean, east off the coast of Argentina.
Station on 2, node 1 camera port is returned to nominal config.
Copy, thanks, Drew.
Kounotori flying 590 meters away from the space station now. Again, we're heading towards 1,000. That'll put it a kilometer away and cross the approach ellipsoid and cease joint operations between the International Space Station and the HTV flight controllers that are over in Tsukuba, Japan at HTV Flight Control. Again, that last departure burn, once it crossed the keep out sphere, was complete. That rate right where it's supposed to be, just about now at about 1.4 meters per second. Exiting the heading towards that approach ellipsoid about a kilometer away. HTV continuing to depart as planned, 740 meters away from the space station and counting. It's heading towards that approach ellipsoid that'll end the joint operations between the International Space Station and HTV Flight Control. HTV Flight Control over in Tsukuba, Japan will take control of the vehicle and see its deorbit burn. We have another Ask NASA question about the deorbit. How long will it take HTV-8 to re-enter Earth's atmosphere and burn up over the Pacific Ocean? This is the last departure burn for International Space Station joint operations. Again, once it crosses the approach ellipsoid about 1,000 meters away, it'll continue to fly around the Earth for just about another day and a half. The next departure burn will happen just about 1:30 p.m. Central Time today. It'll have a controlled flight continuing to orbit the Earth until tomorrow afternoon. There's again 3 departure burns that start tomorrow afternoon U.S. time. That's Saturday, November 2nd. Those 3 departure burns are spread out along a few hours. So that last burn expected sometime Saturday night U.S. time. That'll put it Sunday morning Japan time. Again, the flight of HTV at that point being controlled by HTV Control. Keep sending in your questions using the hashtag AskNASA. We're continuing to track Kounotori 8 departing the International Space Station after being released 12:21 p.m. Central Time from the grips of the Canadarm2 by Christina Cook and Jessica Meir aboard the space station. Kounotori, 956 meters away from the space station. We'll wait for confirmation that it crosses the approach ellipsoid.
Station Houston for HTV. HTV has exited the approach ellipsoid.
Copy.
And with that, confirmation that HTV has exited the approach ellipsoid. Joint operations between International Space Station Flight Control teams and HTV Flight Control have ceased. HTV Flight will take over operations of HTV until it's deorbited Saturday night. The International Space Station and HTV flying 268 statute miles over the South Atlantic Ocean, about to go into an orbital sunset. That'll wrap up our coverage of HTV's departure, a successful departure for the Japanese cargo craft that completed 34 days aboard the International Space Station. That will depart some of the cargo and take trash away from the space station, but there's more coming to the International Space Station. That's on the 19th anniversary of continuous human habitation aboard the International Space Station. You can see more about some of the countdown milestones for NG-12, Northrop Grumman's 12th cargo resupply mission. We'll have a pre-launch conference today at 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern p.m. You can catch that here in just less than a half an hour. At 8:30 a.m. Central Time tomorrow morning on the 19th anniversary of continuous human habitation, when Bill Shepard and the crew of Expedition 1 first entered the International Space Station to begin that human habitation. On that day, 8:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, you can watch our launch coverage. That launch, 8:59 a.m. Central, 9:59 Eastern. On Monday, you can see the Northrop Grumman's Cygnus captured by the Christina Cook and Jessica Meir swapping positions. Jessica Meir taking the controls of the robotic arm that time. That capture coverage to start at 1:45 a.m. Central Time, 2:45 Eastern on Monday, November 4th. Capture is set for 5:30 a.m. Central Time, 6:30 Eastern. That'll wrap up our coverage of HTV. Tune in to all the coverage for NG-12, Northrop Grumman's 12th cargo resupply mission. This is Mission Control Houston.